Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vasel and Sam Healey.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, hello.
Sam Healey. What's happening, folks?
This is the Miami Dice where we're basically co-opting Zee's review.
Get out of here.
Usually Zee's a guest, but technically me and Sam are guests in his review this time.
True.
Take over, baby.
Very so.
Because Zee is a fan of Bruno Catala, who's one of the two designers of this game. The other one is Mark Packian.
Packian.
Has he? Do you know other games he's put together?
I don't know. This might, and I hate to steal, his credits if he's done more games than this, but I don't think this designer has done anything else.
This is the new big box game from Days of Wonder. They usually put out just one new game per year, then some Ticket to Ride thing. This is coming out very soon.
Yep.
We saw a lot of production copies. So this is, how do you pronounce it again?
Yamatai.
Yamatai?
Or
Okay,
We're pretty
Yamataï.
sure.
All right, well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. This is a heavier worker placement game is probably not the best way to describe it. Here, Zee will describe it.
Yeah. The objective of the game is to get the most victory points, and those are going to come at the end of the game from a few different things. You are going to get one victory point, one prestige point, as the game calls them, for each of these tokens. You are going to get prestige points for whatever the buildings are that you have built, the number up here. You are going to get prestige points from your specialists, the number is right here. You are going to get, you're going to lose possibly some prestige points if you have buildings you took and did not build. And then you are also going to get prestige points for money. 5 coins equals 1 point at the end of the game. Highest score is the winner of the game. So each round is going to go like this. Every player has a board in front of them that looks like that, and it tells you how your turn plays out over 5 steps. Some of them optional, some of them mandatory. The first step here is you take one of the tiles at the bottom there. It's going to do a couple of things. It'll tell you what you get right now. So for example, this one here is going to give you 1 green ship, 1 red ship. It gives you a special power, and it has a big 8 at the bottom. That is turn order for the next round. And so if I take that one, I am going to, at the end of the round, I'll place my character on the 8 there. That lets me know where I go in turn structure, all right? You are going to do that first. You take one of those. After that, you get the ships that are on it, and that power you can use anytime throughout the game. In this case, the number 8 allows you to switch 2 ships previously placed already on the board. After that, you get the market phase here where you can buy 1 ship or sell 1 ship. The values are right here. Golden ships cannot be purchased or sold through this action. Once that's done, we go to step 3 where you may place some ships out there. So let's say I did this indeed. I get my green, I get my red. Let's say I bought nothing else. And then I will place some ships. This is optional. I can also just keep them if I want to. When you place 1 ship, the first ship placement is going to come in from the edge here with free placement. It can go anywhere I want. And then every other ship I place this round would just go after that one, all right? From now on, assuming these are taken, of course, if I want to start placing ships, the only limitation there is that the first one has to touch a ship of that same color. So my first placement here, green next to green, that's legal, and every other ship that I've acquired for that round or that I've saved up can be played as I like, following the chain. All right? So, after I've placed those ships, let's say I've placed those 2, I get to either take these tokens here or I get to build. And if I build, I pick one place and I build on it. It has to be free of the token. If I take tokens, I simply take those, all right? And so for this ship here, if it's touching an island, I can take the token. This ship is touching that island, I can take that token. That is it for that step. There's a few other scoring opportunities if you build one of your buildings, which are these right here. I'll come back to that in just a minute. After that, you get to save one of your ships. If you save too many ships, by the way, you will lose victory points at the end of the game if you are being wasteful. And then step number 5 here allows you to turn in some of these tokens to acquire a specialist. You are going to need either 2 of the same or 3 different tokens. And so in this case, I'm not quite ready to grab a specialist yet, but if instead of this combination, these tiles had been like so, and I would have grabbed these 2 blue tiles, I could spend both of these, get them out of the game, and take one of these up here. And these are going to give you some special power throughout the rest of the game. I'll show you, not all of them, but I will show you these up here in just 1 minute. Let me double back to building. Once these places have been emptied, you can, instead of taking the tiles, of course, you can build there. The buildings, which are these over here, have a requirement of what needs to be around that island for you to deploy one of your buildings there. And so, for example, let's say I want to build this building here. On my next turn, let's switch these two for the sake of our example. Let's say I acquire a red building. Let's say I do it from here. And let's say I buy a black building, which would cost me 3 coins, all right? So I've got those two. I can then deploy them. Red has to go next to red. Done. Then this one there. Now, instead of taking tokens, I'm going to build a building. I want to build this one, red, red, black, which is what I've got there. I am going to take one of my own buildings, deploy it there, and take this, remove it, put it face down in front of me. That's victory points at the end of the game. And there are some bonus scoring for that. If you build next to one of these two kinds of structures here, you're going to get a bonus fan, a bonus prestige. If you build on a mountain, you get a bonus. And if you are growing a group of your buildings, you are going to get some money out of that. So that's basically it. And then once everyone has done one of these, we rearrange turn order. Let's say we're playing with 4 people. Those go away. That slides over. These next 4 will come over and be flipped face up. This one slides over, and we reshuffle the 4 I set aside, and they come back over here face down. Make sense? That's it. This is going to continue until the end of the game is triggered, which happens when one player's buildings run out, when one of the kinds of ships runs out, when you cannot replenish buildings, or when you cannot replenish specialists up here. Let me tell you what the specialists do. At that point, we're going to be done, because that's pretty much it, except for unique variations on those things. You've now got sort of an understanding of how the whole thing operates. So the ones up here, as I said, are going to give you some special power for the whole game, except for this one right here. This one is actually no special power, but it is 4 prestige points, so quite a large character there. This one is 1 victory point, and it allows you to make 1 more transaction. So you can sell 2 ships, you can buy 1 and sell 1, whatever. This one here, at the end of the game, instead of 5 coins being 1 prestige point for you, it is 3 coins. That is 1 prestige point. So if you're going with a lot of money, this is a great one to grab. This one here is going to double the number of fans you have at the end of the game. And this one here allows you to store 2 extra ships. You normally have space at the port for 1 ship. You can carry over from round to round. With this character, you can carry over 3. And then later on in the game, deploy a nice big chain, make a big move, and grab a bunch of tokens, or more likely, deploy a building without anyone, giving you the opportunity to do so. You make your own opportunity there. So that should give you a pretty good idea of how the game operates. A lot of different combinations, a lot of tricky maneuvers, lots of grabbing these at first and then deploying buildings. I'm not really going to go into these, but usually these come from in here, like that one. They are much bigger combinations, and they are going to give you more victory points, all right? That's it for us. Let's go back up top. Let's give you some final thoughts.
As always, with every Days of Wonder production, it's gorgeous. I mean,
It is. It's beautiful.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
the box looks good, the ships look good, the tokens look good.
Insert is good. I mean, they know what they're doing.
So, yes, as usual, Days of Wonder did a good job on their production.
The course at this point.
And that's one of the things that Days of Wonder has usually, if not always, been very good with, is those box inserts. I mean, they take the time to figure out how to fit everything neatly so that it doesn't shift around and all this other kind of stuff. I really love their box inserts.
Yeah.
So this game is a heavier game than most of Days of Wonder games. Most games of theirs are very light, Ticket to Ride style and things like that. This one is a step up, although it's not that complex.
Right, once you figure it out.
This one is going to be, it's a similar weight to Five Tribes, which came out last year. But would you say it feels like any other game? I mean, is there like a game you would compare it to?
I think there are elements of other games in it, but it doesn't quite feel like another game. which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it feels like anything else. I know it's getting some comparisons out there to Five Tribes itself.
I don't
largely
see that.
because it's one of the co-designers of this is the designer of Five Tribes, same company. They're back to back from Days of Wonder. I get all of that.
I think there is some. I'm sorry.
There are some similarities.
There are some similarities. I mean, there's definitely pattern recognition in this.
Yeah.
So that you can score the best points, and there's pattern recognition in Five Tribes, so that you can score the most points.
And the characters that work for you, the Djinns in Five Tribes,
right.
the characters in this, absolutely.
There's similarities, but it doesn't feel like Five Tribes to me.
No.
Not even close.
And I think the people that did not like Five Tribes, and the thing they didn't like about Five Tribes was the, oh boy, I don't want to do anything because I'm going to set my opponent up to take a turn that's better than mine. I think that's alleviated in this game. Because those things are easier. I think those things, while they will happen, they are also easier to spot. There's only so many islands.
I felt like we were setting up Rick almost every turn in the game we played with him.
Yeah, but there's none of those moments where you play in Five Tribes, you'll do something, and then the opponent, the next player will start, and you go, oh, that's a huge turn. Oh, in this, if I clear an island of a token, I know you'll probably build there. You know what I mean? There's like 4 or 5 places you can probably build.
Yeah,
it's not 12 permutations of something crazy you can do. I'm not knocking Five Tribes, by the way. I'm just saying, I think this one.
Five Tribes.
I think this one, while also very tactical and there's a lot going on, shouldn't scare away the people that thought, oh man, I can't see what my opponent's going to do, so I'm not even going to bother. You know, this is a little easier to control that in, I think.
One thing I really liked about the game, probably my favorite thing about it, is the turn order. I thought that turn order track was phenomenally neat. As you pick something that gives you an action, but then also determines what order you go in next turn. Mm-hmm. And obviously the ones that have the higher number where you're going to go last are much better actions.
Right.
And so, putting out 3 ships is way better than putting out 1. And so I thought that was a kind of a cool idea. And that turn order then mixed with hey, you can do 2 things in your turn, but essentially. What are you going to do with them? Mm-hmm. And at first you're like, well, obviously, I'm going to take these special abilities. Oh, wait, maybe I should be building buildings. Mm-hmm. So I thought that the game played very smoothly in that regard. And that turn order thing, which sometimes turn order can be convoluted, I thought in this game it was pretty smooth. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that type of thing before, but the way the tiles shifted down and you picked them, I thought was a nice touch.
I think the one thing that really stood out for me is that, and this is something that I like in many of the games that I enjoy, is that it has multiple paths to victory. Mm-hmm. And they seem to be all balanced. I don't think that there's, and granted, I've only played the game once. You've played it more than I have, but it doesn't seem like that there is one dominant path to victory. I think, just from this initial impression, I think that they're all balanced. Just how well you implement that course,
right?
In determining how well you do at the end of the game. So that's what I really liked about it.
Well, one of my favorite things about it is that exactly what you're saying, and it is a balance between early in the game going, I'm going to go big money because those 2 characters are available.
Right.
If I get this one and I get this one, that means this score's better. I get more money, whatever. But then round to round, the tactics are immense in this game.
Yeah.
You have to be able to react to what your opponents are doing. Mm-hmm. Do I need to go early next round? Am I okay being last place, but I get those 3 ships and then I can sell that one and get some money?
Right.
So the tactics are high, but you want a long-term plan. And when those 2 things dovetail for me, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of game for me. I think this game gets that balance right.
You definitely have to keep an eye on your opponents.
Yeah.
I was constantly watching because I'd be like, all right, great, I can build a... Wait, he already built a building there. Or just when I take these tokens off, am I setting the other person up?
Right,
to build those.
To build.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, the game is not... I don't think it's perfect. I think that there's a lot of iconography in the game. Mm-hmm. That's usually something you're not a big fan of, but there's a decent amount of, hey, especially the first couple times you play it, what does that guy do? What does that guy do? What does that guy do? Yes. Even the initial 10 turn things, after a while you're like, oh, I know what those do.
Right.
But the people, the advisors, what do they all do?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things going on. What can you do again? What's your special ability? Can you store 3 ships? some of them are easier to remember than others. So I think that you'll have to play it a few times before that clicks faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we did, and I think it's a good practice, is that we didn't explain all of the different people first and their powers. We just as they came up.
Oh yeah, I don't think you should ever do that, right?
So, yeah.
I also thought that the game theme is tenuous at best.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for really nice artwork.
Why am I building a gold ship and why do I need 3 black ships and a gold ship to build this building? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I'm sure somebody can explain it away, but it's just...
Well, I think with not any other company's production of this same game, but definitely with Days of Wonder, I think the theme works because the production quality is so extravagant. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the artwork and the wooden pieces and all of this other kind of stuff, the reason that theme seems like it's more enveloped into the game is because of the production quality of it. Whereas another company makes this game, they don't put as much time into making all of the pieces look as good as they could.
Right.
The theme would definitely feel more pasted on than it already does.
Yeah.
But I think it works.
One thing we were discussing, we were talking about the choices you make. You mentioned 5 tribes, you have a ton of choices and they get smaller and smaller.
Yes.
In this game, you have fewer choices at the beginning. You really can only put your ship on a few spots, come in and build things, and those decisions will grow. Now, where I differ from you is I feel that at the end of the game, they shrink down. There's fewer things going on the board, fewer places to build buildings, fewer places. After a while, you stop caring about getting an advisor because you just simply can't get the chips to do them because they're mostly gone.
Yeah, but...
So, I thought it had a nice bell curve. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's not like it shrinks down to nothing, but that middle of the game, suddenly you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
There was a few things to do. Now there's like 30.
And some of the heroes' abilities are definitely better at the beginning of the game than at the end. So at the end, you could be stuck with a bunch of heroes that they're not worth it. They're not
That's
worth
true.
the ticket.
They just got points on them, right? But you're right. They don't do anything. I found it, Tom. Speaking to that point, that the game was wrapping up as it began to come right down. So there was no long tail in my experience with it of going, when's this going to end? Because I'm kind of out of choice.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying I thought that the most of the choices were in the middle of the game, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. But I do like that at the beginning, as you said, you can pretty much turn 1 or 2, turn around and buy a specialist or whatever they're called, which I really like in this game. Because you immediately pick a path. Like, I'm going to go with this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be stealing people's money when they take characters. I'm going to be whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
And, as I said, I really like 5 tribes. But in 5 tribes, those characters, the djinns, seem less important than specialists to this game.
Oh, no, the
because you get them usually later in the game. Yeah. And most of them you need to fire up. You got to pay them again.
Right.
In this, once you pick that character, that specialist, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that in this one.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, that's good.
All right, well, I'm sure I don't like it as much as Z does. I do find it an enjoyable game, moving things around. Like I said, I love the turn order. I love the specials. Anything that gives me a special power no one else has, automatically enjoy that. Yeah. This gets 1 golden boat up from me. It's good, not necessarily my style that I want to play all the time, but I did enjoy it. What about you? Because I know he's going to do the highest.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1.5.
Look for a thing.
Queen Himiko's up.
2 queens? 1.5 queens?
Yeah.
One of them's dead.
Oh.
I don't know about that.
I got morbid quick.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I usually do with this weight of a game. And I think that's probably due to the fact that I keep coming back to it, and I don't mean to be a broken record, but the production quality is just off the chart.
It is.
It's just off the chart. And for me, seeing this kind of game on the table and its beauty and its aesthetic appeal helps me enjoy the game more.
That's true.
So it's a heavy game. This is slightly less heavy than 5 Tribes, I think.
You think so?
Slightly. Which is probably another reason why I like this one better than 5 Tribes.
Okay.
Because it's not as thinky, it doesn't hurt my head, whereas 5 Tribes it actually kind of does sometimes.
Yeah, 5 Tribes has that fear of almost like fear of missing out. Almost,
I know I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And that's just compounded when everybody that's at the table is, why is he not doing that?
We're gonna start. We do that to him on purpose now. Even if I don't see something.
Even if there's nothing there, it's like there's a better move than that.
Man,
I know, right?
See that amazing?
Exactly.
All right.
Anyway, clearly I like it a lot. 2 thumbs. 2 thumbs way up for me, really. I really enjoyed it. I think it strikes a really great balance among all the different things I like, and artwork feeds into that, and play length feeds into that. Player interaction is part of it, while still letting me do my own thing, and still letting me long-term plan, short-term plan, and all of that. It's a great mix of a lot of different flavors that at first you look at your player board and you go, whoa, there's a lot going on, but it's pretty straightforward and well explained, So yeah, 2 lady wrapped in a tentacle. I don't know.
All right, till next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. Thanks, everybody.
That's disgusting.
No, it's fine.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.